JSAUX, eh? Now that's a name I haven't heard in a very long time. And they sent me a device of great interest. No money has exchanged hands, and they're not viewing this video beforehand. And of course, all of my opinions are my own. So JSAUX has entered the portable monitor market, and it's a pretty tough segment. There's a variety of different portable monitors out there, many of which I've covered on this channel already. How does JSAUX differentiate themselves from the competition? Well, it's simple really. Don't give us one monitor, but give us a dual screen monitor instead. Yes, this monitor's main party trick is that it's a dual screen display. So inside the box is obviously the dual screen monitor itself. Like for example, this comes with instructions and warranty information and some stickers. Useful but not terribly useful, you know? We also get a number of pretty necessary cables. For example, we get an HDMI to mini HDMI cable, and a Type-C cable as well, and a stand for this monitor. So why don't we actually get this set up? While it may greatly resemble a laptop, the hinge mechanism is anything but. The hinge mechanisms are on the side. As a result though, the hinge mechanism looks quite robust, far more robust than any actual laptop would be. And of course, it is surprisingly heavy, though this is not a laptop, so it's not meant to go on your lap or anything of the sort. When you plug this into a Windows device, by default, Windows will just duplicate all of your displays. It's an unusual Windows quirk, but you can change it in the display settings. So let's talk about all the ports. On the left you have two USB Type-C ports and a mini HDMI port. One USB Type-C for power and one for display. What's cool though is that one USB cable is all you really need if you have a device that supports it. Like for example, this Legion Go is both powering and displaying out to both screens, all off of one single cable, which quite frankly is amazing. And yes, both monitors are their own individual screens. You can display different things on them, giving you effectively 3 screens at all times. The monitor also acts like an integrated hub of its own. On the right side of the display, you have 2 USB-A ports and a Type-C port. This is where you would plug in your peripherals or accessories or whatever. The USB ports on the right are USB 2.0 ports and are only really meant for things like keyboards or mice or game controllers. Not really meant for things like high-speed flash drives or anything of the sort, really. Each of the displays are a 1080p panel, and as such, they can only go up to 1080p. For most workloads, I think this is fine, but for the more intense workloads, you know, stuff like photo editing or video editing or whatever, a higher resolution would have been preferable. But aside from that, I think the resolution is plenty. As for display quality, I think the display is pretty good. Now granted, it's no OLED panel, but for an IPS panel, it's pretty darn good. For productivity and even video editing, I think it's perfectly fine, though if you want to do any actual gaming on it, then there might be better and ultimately cheaper options. Options with a higher refresh rate, higher resolution, OLED, all of that stuff. I don't know if I've said this before, but this is primarily productivity first. You can game on it, but it's not really that type of monitor. While you could use the Flipgo while it's laying down, almost like a laptop orientation, the best way to use it is with some sort of stand, and JSAUX has a couple of options for that. First and foremost, they give you a VESA mount adapter. You can VESA mount this magnetic piece to just about anything with a standard VESA mount, like a monitor stand or a monitor arm. Of course, I don't have any spare monitor arms lying around, so I can't exactly use this. But of course, JSAUX also sells their own monitor stand for this monitor. It's nothing particularly fancy, but it's made to work with this monitor by being magnetic. And of course, you attach it magnetically to the monitor itself, and it opens up like a book. But of course, if you don't want to spend extra money on an extra stand, then you could just use the cover as a sort of stand itself. It folds up and it'll be a sturdy stand for both monitors. And yes, it's made to be portable for the true road warrior. And yes, this orange cover covers the unit itself. So I have this plugged into a Legion Go, and as you can see here, one USB Type-C cable powers the device and outputs to both displays at the same time, off of one Legion Go. And yes, you can set each monitor to be its own unique screen, of course. So obviously the main selling point is that this has 2 screens in one, and both can be powered off of a single cable, which is really nice. But is the monitor really up to spec? Well, I think the answer is yes, for certain use cases. So right off the bat, this uses an IPS display rather than an OLED display, but it is relatively color accurate, so I think I'd be more than comfortable with using this for video editing. I will say though, I wasn't expecting it to feel this heavy, but it's not too bad or anything. Most of the time I'm not even going to carry this, and I'm certainly not going to put this on my lap, much like a laptop. So I think the extra weight and heft is actually in its favor. And besides, if you want to transport this bad boy, you're probably going to put it in a backpack anyways. Which, by the way, this thing closes on itself, so unlike most portable displays, you don't have to worry about this getting scratched up in your backpack. You can also rotate the entire display, having 2 vertical screens. And yes, the verticality does help with productivity tasks like making Excel spreadsheets or scrolling through lists. You know, stuff like that. Honestly, at this point, I think the only way this could have been better is if they sent me the touchscreen version instead, and if maybe this had 2 OLED screens instead of just 2 IPS displays. But I think that would have made the device way too expensive. Use cases depend per person, and obviously having 2 screens is better than having 1 screen. And yes, someone's gonna ask me, does this work with the Steam Deck? Yes, it does work with the Steam Deck, but the Steam Deck isn't the best device for this. And that's for one reason only. Game mode does not support more than 1 monitor. Game mode outputs to 1 of these displays. And to be honest, this monitor isn't really a great fit for any gaming handheld unless you intend on using it as a productivity machine. This monitor, however, is a productivity monster. But is it really worth the price? It starts at $399 for a 13-inch, and it goes all the way up to $600 for a 16-inch, with a touchscreen. I should mention that this is not the touchscreen model, and I kinda wish I got the touchscreen model instead. I think that would have helped out immensely, so yeah, if you're gonna buy this, I would spend a little more to get a touchscreen instead. Now the question is it worth it? Well, for the average gamer, I would say no. This isn't really a gaming monitor, as I stated before. If you need a portable monitor for gaming, whether it's on a Steam Deck or another PC handheld, or even, I don't know, consoles, then you can buy cheaper monitors that also have OLED as well. But if you're someone that likes to travel out of town a lot for business meetings and doing business out of town and all of that stuff, then this portable monitor might be for you. It's proven to be very, very convenient in many different ways, and I think from now on, this will be a permanent addition to my backpack. If you like this video, please press the like button and check out our other videos, and if you like those other videos as well, be sure to press the subscribe button and share the good gospel of high-tech lowlife with your friends. Furthermore, we have a community Discord for enlightened individuals such as you. And if you wish to further support high-tech lowlife, be sure to check out our Patreon page. Links in the description.